Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're looking into the mysteries of the womb and why the Lord made the womb for the women. Now stay with me as we find out. What does the womb mean? And why did the Lord plant in the womb in women? At the time, the Lord proclaimed the increase and multiplications of humanities. That very increase is known as a blessing. And this very blessing of increase was planted in women as a womb. Now, this very womb is known as a blessing of increase. The question now is, how does womb brought in the increase? And for what purpose was the womb created? The word womb is known as a tunnel. And the word womb is known as a pathway. What pathway and what tunnel? The body of an individual was made out from the dust. Now this very body is a frame given to a personality in order to live in the physical terrains. The personality in this very body is not a physical entity. The Bible says, and God formed man out of dust, and then he breathed upon a man, and man became a living soul. Now, the breath is a spirit, and then the soul is as well a spirit. The soul is not seen by the optical eyes, likewise the spirit of a man. So now, this very soul and spirit needs a body called the dust. The soul and the spirit dwells in this very body in order to abide in the physical habitation. This very soul and the spirit of a man came from an invisible realm. The only way this very soul and the spirit can come into the frame, which is called the dust or the body, is through a tunnel, which we call womb. A womb is like a pathway that stands between the spirit realms and the physical realms. Now, no spirit comes into the physical realm without a tunnel. Every spirit and every soul comes into the earth through a tunnel called the womb. The Lord created the womb in order for spirits and souls to venture into the earth to lay hold of frames. Now, these very frames is what makes them to function on earth. You and I have this very body. This our body has a soul and a spirit. We came from invisible realm into the earth. For we to now have this very body we're putting on, we pass through the womb or the tunnel to earth to lay hold of this very body and to be among the physical habitation. The devil understands the mysteries behind the womb to be a tunnel. There is one spirit called the enemy of the womb. Now, this enemy of the womb is the same as the enemy of the tunnel, called the tunnel of pathway. The spirit is known as the queen of heaven, which the Bible called Babylon the Great. The spirit is a spirit in charge of the astral realms of waters. In the realms of waters, we have the three dimensions of waters. We have the first dimension called the realms of the deep. And the second dimension of this very realm is called the marine realms. And the third dimension of these very realms of the waters is called the astral waters. The realms of the deep and the realms of the marine and that of the astral waters are three different operations of Satan in Trinity. The realms of the deep, which is the first realm of the waters, is the realm mostly against the soul of a man. This very realm has a special mission against the soul. And let's move into the next one called the marine. The word marine means water and land. Now, the spirits in charge of the realms of the marine have an influence over the realms of water and over the realms of man. Their primary mission is the body of a man. The spirit in charge of this very marine is known as the queen of the coast. The coast is the dry dimension of the land. The spirit that controls the deep waters is known as the beasts. In the next video, I'm going to give more details in the deep and that of the marine. But now let's proceed to the major target and the major mission against the womb. The world extra waters is controlled by a spirit called the Queen of Heaven, which is likewise known as Babylon. This very spirit is more against the spirit of a man. The very influence of this very spirit is mostly against the stars of the heaven. Now the world stars of the heaven are known as the spirits. These very stars is the same as the spirits in you. Now the Bible says there is a spirit in a man, and that very spirit was created to accompany a soul, which is you, to enable your soul to walk in the rightful direction and to help your soul to fulfill its mission. Now the spirit is meant to return back to God and is not destined for condemnation, because the spirit has a mission. Your soul is to accomplish the mission. Each time the soul is meant to come into the earth, and then the soul is meant to be accompanied with a great spirit given a very great assignment. Now the spirit meant to come into the earth for an assignment which the soul is meant to carry out. The spirit has the scroll. Now the Queen of Heaven sees this very spirit, and she knows that the spirit is coming into the earth for a specific operation, and the only way she can stop the very spirit is to look for every means to block the tunnel, to block the womb. And how does she block this very tunnel? This very tunnel connects the earth to the heavenlies, that makes the spirit in a man to journey into the earth with the soul. You are the soul, and the spirit sent to accompany your soul into the world and to live with you throughout the days in this very earth is meant to reveal a mission given to it that your soul ought to accomplish. Now, for that very thing not to be accomplished, the extra spirit will now use their influence on a woman to make sure that that very woman do not let that very spirit and the soul to pass through their womb into the earth, seeing that they're coming into the earth for the future plan of the devil to be destroyed. So what she does is use her power, and this very power is known as abortion. She uses the power of abortion to make sure that every womb that is meant to bring in the mighty spirits and soul into the world for the purpose of destroying a mission and destroying the works of the devil on earth, she would then engage that very womb with abortion. First of all, approaching the lady or the woman to ensure that such a woman do not know who she is, the kind of womb she has as a tunnel to bring in mighty spirit and soul into the world that is meant to do great and mighty things on earth. She then communicated with the queen of the coast, the queen in charge of the marine, which has the power of flesh, which have the power of frame of man, for destruction, for lusts. Now this very spirit will now start making physical frames and physical activities to be filled with lust and attractive, for such a one to be moved by the attractions of the eyes, that everything around should be very attractive for lust. Lust proceed and then increase urges, and thereby ushers in the agents of the marine who are in the world. The marine has what it takes to transform themselves and then operate both in the waters and that of the land. The marine haven't brought in the destruction leading to such a one to walk and operate by lusts. That is where, when the lust have taken hold, sexual urges planted from the lust increase. Such a being will find herself having sex with everyone that comes her way. And then this very sex was not imputed for just fun. There is a target. The target is for the Queen of Heaven, the Queen of the astral waters, to block the womb that connect from the earth to the heaven, so that that very womb will not be able to usher in spirits and souls into the world from the heavens. God did not like abortion. God released the womb as a blessing of increase. So stopping the increase means you are against His command. If you do it deliberately and consistently, the womb will be shut. The very womb will be connected and channeled into the astral realms. And that very womb will become a tunnel, a pathway in which invisible creatures from the marine kingdom that want to dwell in the habitations of man to pick in frames and bodies will now pass through your womb into the earth. Your womb will no longer be used to bring in the channels of the heavenlies into the earth, but rather it will not be a channel to bring in the dark invisible creatures into the world, and thereby become a channel that ushers in invisible or fallen creatures into the earth to be amidst humanities. Now, in the realms of the spirit, every spirit wants to live in the midst of human, so they are looking for every womb as a target. And then when they see that your womb is one of the greatest womb that ushers in great entities or that ushers in great spirits and souls, they look for every means to hijack that very womb by engaging you into sexual immoralities and uncountless abortions to lock up your womb from that of the earth to heaven. So their womb will no longer become a portal of increase of divine creativity of God, but to become an increase of fallen entities. And once these very entities are conceived, they will take your life early as their parents. They will never let you control them. Their mission can never be stopped by you being the channel they came into the world. And you have no say over their life. You can't control them, neither will you teach them how they should live. They will be the one to determine and will remind you that you have no right over them. If you speak, they will take your life early. Have you wondered why most young men, you wondered how they use their parents for rituals, and you've never thought about that? Have you wondered why the Lord sought for virgin to bring in Yeshua, Jesus, into the world? Have you wondered why? Now, the womb of Mary is a tunnel that is still connected from the earth to the heavenlies, that is not compromised, not affected. And then, have you also wondered why the Lord locked the womb of Elizabeth till the appointed time for her womb not to be tempered, to usher in an invisible creature into her womb called John the Baptist? So cherish your womb and stop taking all manners of things just to abort and just to keep yourself fit. For you do not know what manner of thing you do now. It will still on you in the future. But blame no one and not also God once the reality began to stir up from the creatures you have begot, to prevent yourself from this very destruction thereafter. Cease from your smartness. Don't think you're smart by removing consistently children that comes to your womb. Save your future and do not think your smartness will save you from the future. God bless you for watching, and I'm sure you're blessed. Please like and share to your friends, and please subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell if this message has blessed your life.